Here with Austin capitalist Walsh, and he's sitting pretty in this TI, doing some pretty big name games.
I am.
Did you think you were gonna be in this position?
No.
Last year?
Last year, no way. I mean, last year I went to ESL1 Frankfurt, and that was kind of my breakthrough. But I would have had to surpass, last year AC in order to make it. And last year, it turns out that they only did 2 play-by-play casters, so it wasn't even possible to make main event. But last year, I was just happy to be invited to the group stage. Obviously, main event is always the goal. So when I made it main event this year, I was very happy.
And next year, what's the...
Next year, I mean, obviously, I'm going to continue.
Grand final! Next year, grand final.
I mean, I don't want to put myself, I don't want to try and make my goal too high, essentially. That's the goal eventually, right? But I want to continually climb. So group stage last year, main event this year. Maybe I get a little bit higher profile, maybe I do lower bracket final next year or something like that. You know, I just hope that I always get better, and that as I improve, I'm able to make the climb upward.
So what do you think changed? What do you think changed?
A lot of little things. I mean, I just really worked at it a lot, and
you're 6K now.
That did not change anything.
What are you talking about? You got the 6K legitness.
You know what it is? You know what the 6K thing is?
6K.
That is merely just a number which Twitch chat and Reddit chat can now, the Reddit comments can now actually drop that. So my defender is gonna be like, oh, he's 6K, and then the people are like, oh wow,
legitimate.
He's 6K, right? But
no, that's legitimate.
There's
tangible value in that number.
I don't think I've changed as a commentator, somehow magically between the 500 points I was from 5,500 to 6K. I mean, nothing changed there.
Now the meme about you is something positive. Can you, that doesn't exist. All the memes are, making fun of the person. Now, the meme is now that you're good at Dota.
Yeah, I mean, that's
amazing.
It is a good social outreach, right? That basically the people who hate my analysis, whenever I say something wrong, right, they'll reconsider it because I'm 6K, right? Even though 6K.
Why do you do that with the quotes? Because you actually are 6K.
I am actually 6K.
When you say 6K, that implies that you're actually not.
All right, you're right. I'm sorry. It's just.
Did you get boosted?
No, I did not get boosted.
Sure? Are you sure?
Yes, I am positive. All my games were on stream, pretty much.
Why all your games Storm Spirit? Why are you getting? Why are they also? When did you?
I don't know what you're talking about, Ken. This interview is over.
But what did you play? You played offlane?
Yeah, I played a lot of offlane.
What's your go-to?
A lot of Earthshaker, a lot of Clockwork, because I feel like they're
I like it.
Very strong heroes in pubs. You're an Earthshaker player? Earthshaker was my go-to. That's my favorite hero.
And you play a core position then?
Yeah, I moved. Nice. I used to play a lot of support, and I found that wasn't effective enough in pubs.
Yeah, 6-player players don't play support. Come on.
I mean, I still do. I mean,
nah, not really.
If I get into a high-ranking game, yeah.
Nah, come on though.
I mean, what am I gonna be like? I have no fear, and he's playing mid as his 7K account. I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm gonna take mid. I'm 6K. You know, of course I'm gonna play support for him. And it's a role I know very well, and I feel a lot more comfortable playing it when I know I can rely on my teammates.
And this year, TI's a little different than last year.
Yes.
What's different about it? What's different about TI this year?
I'm here at main event.
Other than that.
So the format is obviously different. Going back to a little bit of TI3, this means that...
I like it. I like this one.
Yes. I think that, well, first of all, stretching out the days and changing the format so everyone could be at main event is, I think, a huge upgrade. I think that this is pretty important for all the teams to be able to have an opportunity to showcase themselves. It's really depressing. You know, TI4 was really depressing for a lot of teams to be knocked out early on and just literally just sit there and watch everybody go through. You know, it's terrible. So, also the format change. This also means that there's going to be a lot of pressure on the group stage. Obviously, there was with TI4 as well, but I think you get punished heavier. For example, Newbie. Newbie didn't do well in the group stage last year, right? But they still managed to get into the winner's bracket by making it through the group stage, then going through the bubble bracket, and then into the winner bracket
position. I like
position.
the bubble bracket, honestly, though.
The bubble bracket was interesting, but at the same time, it meant that you didn't get punished for a bad group stage showing, right? Which, there's pros and cons to both, right? Like, okay, what if you're like an EG who notoriously have a bad first day or something like that? It's but it does mean the group stage is a lot more important this year. So you don't want to be in that lower bracket in the best of one setup. That's the worst. That's a nightmare.
Best of one's hype though.
It is. I mean,
it's most memorable game. LGD versus Liquid was best of one.
You do have the opportunity to have another Liquid position, essentially, right? And it does make for a really good storyline. And I think that at an event like this, it's perfectly fine having best of one. I think that there's going to be some people who are like, oh, why is it best? Why can't it be best of three or something like that? But first of all, there are time constraints. But really, I mean, if you go through a whole entire like group stage situation and end up in
if you're like 15th in the group stage, there's a reason you're not unlucky 15th when you play whatever.
It's like very doubtful
of twos, right?
Yeah, it's very doubtful a best of three is actually going to change things for you. So while there are certain situations like, oh, if that was a best of three, that team would have moved on to the next round. But yeah, they would have moved on to the next round, but would they have moved much further past that point, So
you've been in Germany?
Mm-hmm.
You missing the U.S.?
I know
yes. You are.
Yes, I am. We've had
You're
these
like
talks.
Me. I know. We're Americans.
Yeah, we're Americans through and through.
We need the U.S. So you're loving this, right?
Oh yeah, this is kind of my hometown.
Seattle,
No, don't Seattle. Seattle's amazing. All right, Seattle's kind of like my hometown. Okay.
All right.
It's between Seattle and Portland. So
I don't know. I like Seattle. I'm just saying it's like, if you wanted to get as much America as possible. In 1 week, right?
Mm.
You're going to Texas or something.
Yeah, you'd go to New York or
Do you know which games you're casting already?
I do. We got the caster schedule, so I know all of my wild card and group stage games, and then I know obviously the position of my main event games.
You're casting the hypest wild card game with Blitz, right?
Yes, I am. It is the lower bracket final, so this is going to determine the second team that goes.
One of those teams is not going, and one of them is.
Yeah. So it's.
Who's your head rooting for, and who's your heart rooting for?
So I would say that I love Archon.
You love them?
Because
Here comes the but, because you're saying all this stuff, and then it's going to be a but.
Oh, no.
There's going to be stuff after the but.
There's immediately going to be a but. I love Archon. I love the some of the guys that are on Archon. They're good friends. But I have them in my 4th place position.
Okay, so you have them.
So
I'm
not saying that I love Mojo, but he's already practicing for his next career in Smash Brothers. So,
okay, all right.
I think he's going to be okay.
We'll see how he does.
But I think MVP Phoenix works really hard, but I have them in their 3rd place. I followed a lot of Vega. I know this is going to catch me a lot of North American hate, but for me to cheer for Vega Squadron as being like the 2nd place team.
You've already you've converted, man.
I mean, I just like good Dota, and I've followed Vega Squadron for the last 6, 7, 8 months, routinely.
You can't get past that, man.
Okay, so here's the thing about Vega Squadron. When they first came in, they were pretty bad, and I was casting them in Gigabyte challenges and stuff like that. It was just
So you're like a hipster Vega fan,
because I casted so many of their games, and there is something you get a little invested when you watch a team go from garbage to getting better all the time, and it's holy cow, Vega Squadron go from dropping out in the first round of Gigabyte Challenge to winning Gigabyte Challenge, and then they go into other tournaments that have decent showings, and next thing you know, by the time they get
What do you think that is? Why do you think that is? They're just practicing?
Yeah, a lot of hard work. I mean, they put in the hours.
What about the patch?
Well, the patch is definitely favorable.
Favorable to their style of play, right?
Yes.
They're very,
They are very aggressive.
Team, yeah. Very fun Dota.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Ice Frog to thank for that nice the nice boost to aggression at the beginning of the game. All the CIS teams are doing good, right?
Yes, they are. I think pretty much.
VP.
Yeah, all the teams got a huge benefit. In fact, we talked a lot about this. I think it was the D2CL LAN and what teams really benefited. And of course, we said immediately going into that LAN, that was the first LAN for 6.84. And it was Empire. Empire will get a huge benefit out of that. And then you compare other teams, you look at say Burton United. I was okay, they're going to get a benefit just because of the change up of everything. And then you had VG Gaming, who didn't actually do as well as people expected, losing to Empire twice. was really unexpected for a lot of people, and especially in the dominant way that Empire won. Vici Gaming didn't necessarily get it's not like they got slapped down by 6.84, I don't think, but it was more the fact that Empire got such a big raise. I think Vici Gaming will still be able to cope with the aggressive playstyle, and I think they're still going to do very well in this tournament. It is important to search out feedback. So the important thing is to look for constructive feedback, and then basically in my journey to find constructive feedback, obviously, that's where I get in those comments that get under my skin.
You ask some other casters for feedback or what?
Yeah, I occasionally ask some
Feedback's
casters.
Important, man.
Yes, it is. For people that you actually trust their opinion. But also, I think that I am really good at self-analysis. I think I'm really good at just like analyzing various commentators in general. So I feel that like I know my strengths and weaknesses. I know I'm not the best at hype. I know I'm not the best in analysis, but I'm kind of a jack of all trades, sort of. Like I can hang in there in the top 3 in basically every category, right? But I'm not the best at any.
I like your hype more than the analysis side.
Okay,
That's my opinion.
And some people find my hype very fake. It's an American
maybe,
thing.
Yeah, maybe it's because culturally I can identify with you better.
Yeah, a lot of people actually find my hype to be fake. And I actually, when I see that, I don't necessarily blame that person because I've heard it enough that I know it's actually a thing. And I've kind of talked about it with some people.
Well, hold on. Before you continue about it.
Yes.
Is it fake?
You're right. I'm only in it for the money. Yeah, I'm only in it for the money. All those long volunteer hours, I was totally... No, it's not. It's not fake. I mean, if you ever watch me cast, I get really amped up. Like, I wave my arms around. There was a bunch of pictures from the last ESL in Frankfurt, and I tweeted them out just because they were so funny. Every single one of them, I was like...
Yeah.
You know, just because I get really excited about the game, I get really amped up, and that's why I became a commentator. Because when I was playing competitively, I would be the guy, the energy,
the positive guy.
Yeah, I would be like, let's kick. You know, I would be the no tail. You know, kill those. You know,
that guy is a little too amped up sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's actually bad for my commentary sometimes when I get too amped up because I can lose my way. But no, it's not fake. It is sort of an American thing. It's kind of what I've sussed out is just for whatever reason, my American accent or whatever, the way I cast. People who are not American actually find it a little fake, but I win those people over usually.
And you're casting now with Blitz. What's he like as a co-caster? Because he's kind of new to joinDOTA. And he's casting, lower bracket finals now. This is a meteoric rise.
It is. Blitz has had a great run at it. And I think there's essentially because it's very hard to be a well-liked co-caster. People really have to respect your analysis. You have to come with certain credentials, and I think...
It's a very small group of people that fit into that category, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Former professional player with a good voice and ability to... And who isn't currently playing.
Yeah.
That is able to,
Especially with the rise in prizes, nobody wants to retire.
Yeah.
Right? And even if you could retire, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good commentator. So
exactly, yeah.
Blitz has definitely had a very strong rise, and I think he's a great commentator, and he is definitely in second place to Cinderin, solely because he can't bring the same kind of hype that Cinderin can. But at the same time, some people may prefer him more over Cinderin because of the certain quirks that he has.
He has a laughing voice. That's good.
Yeah.
He can speak while he laughs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, right? So he says something and he laughs. It's makes you feel very engaged in it.
Yeah, it does.
What's your thing?
What's my thing?
Yeah, do you have a thing people remember Capitals by?
No, I really don't think I'm not a very...
You don't have a go-to.
I'm not a very me caster.
You don't have a boom goes a dynamite.
Yeah, I don't have a signature phrase, which is a significant downside, by the way. Like, I don't think it's necessarily good for...
Like, you don't want to be going in trying to make a meme, but you want one.
Well, here's the thing,
right? Like, LD has one. So does Toby, and
Yeah, I think the perfect example is AC, right? So I don't think it's good as a commentator to directly try and copy radio and have signature like lingo, right? That's what radio is about, lingo. So there is some sort of recognition from the viewer, right?
Okay.
And everybody recognizes greetings and salutations. You know, everybody recognizes that, right? So for that, it does give him a lot of talent exposure. But I don't necessarily think it's a good way to place your commentary. I don't think you should rely on that essentially. But it does get the job done, right? It does, you know, brand awareness, right? It gets your brand out there very effectively. So I don't really do anything like that. And nothing's really come around. Like I've had very small things, but they haven't.
If you guys had a session, I can help you out. We can brainstorm something. Brainstorm something for a capitalist.
Brainstorm.
Yeah, we'll get you a catchphrase.
Okay.
So you could get the next wow. That could be you.
Oh boy! Every commentator's dream is
to be the next wow.
To be routinely mocked in every.
That's not mocked.
I mean,
it's done out of love.
We always give LDs. We always give them some crap. You know, whenever we're like, wow.
And
it is out of love.
He tries to ignore it, but I can tell it annoys him.
Yeah, it is entirely out of love. But let's be honest, it was a moment where he messed up, and we routinely bring it back up, right? Like, and then in Toby's thing, like black hole. Like he moved away from it.
It's not black hole. It's that has never happened before.
That has never happened in the history of Dota. Okay, so that was actually. That's funny because it wasn't really a mistake, right? It was just.
It was true.
It was entirely true.
It was just so hyperbolic that you could use it in like a lot of situations. Like, oh, he tangoed that ward. That has never happened in the history of Dota.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, all right. So you're kind of cool for the next couple of days. You cast in the lower bracket final for the wildcard match, and then some fun group stage stuff. Let's final words. Some shout outs and call outs.
Shout outs and call outs?
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to everyone who joined Dota, of course.
Everyone?
Everyone who joined
Even
Dota.
Milk?
Even Jacob.
Okay.
I mean, that guy's.
He's watching LCS right now, probably.
Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah.
And I hope his team loses. Not too much, you know. I don't want him to like.
Do you have any words for elements? You're thinking about whether to say it, right?
Yeah. I didn't know trash was an element.
I didn't know trash was an element. That's okay. All right.
No, but shout out to everyone who joined Dota. Shout out to everyone who supported me, of course, especially in the early times that saw potential in me and was able to give me, you know, kind, encouraging words. And shout out to everybody that I've won over recently that has kept an open mind and heard me, you know, a year and a half ago and thought I was garbage and now listens to me now and actually kind of likes me. You know, that's the best thing that a commentator can do is because it's the best kind of feedback you can get because it shows you're improving. And I do have a call out.
You do? Okay, great.
Yeah. It's not actually mine.
Okay.
It's Pyrian Flax's.
Okay.
And he says that you are.
Me? He's calling out me?
Yes, you.
Okay.
You're a trash bag.
Oh, okay. That's what he said?
I mean, that's not exact the word, but I'm not sure if I could say the actual word here.
We need to go cut his interview up. We already interviewed. I have no power over him anymore. Like we've already his interview's out in the world.
So now you're gonna piece it. You're cut it up and piece it together so he sounds.
He's gonna be like, I am stupid. You know, like I don't be like, we'll cut it up like that. Okay. All right. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
thank you for delivering his message.
Hey, no problem. I'm just don't shoot the messenger.
And you know, thank you for sitting down with us, and I look forward to seeing you cast in the main event. Okay.